Today we are talking about our second discipleship habit, B, building relationships. Did you ever think about the fact that your relationships are unique to you and you alone? Nobody on the planet has the exact cross-section of relationships that you do, not even if you have an identical twin. You have family members who are unique to you, neighbors on your street or in your apartment who are unique to you, co-workers and clients who are unique to you, people who participate in the same hobbies, teachers, friends from school, even relationships at your local church. God has placed you in a very particular place with very specific people. And you know what? God put you there for a reason. The problem is that most people never take the time to think about their relationships or their social circles in that way. And if you don't think about your relationships with intentionality, you won't steward them or manage them as faithfully as you could. One of my favorite stories from the gospel is found in the calling of Levi, otherwise known as Matthew. Now, Levi was a tax collector, and he wasn't well liked by the common people of the day. That being said, Jesus isn't common. One day, while Levi is out collecting taxes, Jesus comes up to his booth, and he gives him an invitation. Come, follow me and be my disciple. Leaving everything behind, Levi follows Jesus to become one of his followers. Now, that's wild enough, leaving behind your tax booth and your livelihood to follow this guy you've never met. But that's not even my favorite part. I love what comes next. Levi leaves there, contacts all of his friends, that's fellow tax collectors and wealthy elites and other sinners, and throws a huge party for Jesus. He puts him on center stage and he celebrates him as the guest of honor. Levi is a great example of stewarding relationships faithfully. Levi knew people that Peter, James, or John didn't know. And he could relate to other tax collectors in ways that a fisherman could not. Now, Jesus can connect with everyone, but he uses people like you and me to be the vehicle that gets him into new social circles. You have relationships where you live, like family members and friends, where you work, co-workers, vendors, and clients, where you learn, maybe as a student or as a teacher, where you play. These are your hobbies, the gym, going to the beach, gardening club, whatever it might be, and where you worship, which is your local church or your discipleship group, your small group. Now, God wants you to faithfully steward these relationships by bringing Jesus into the midst of them in a non-awkward and non-creepy way. On a piece of paper, write your name in the center, and then draw out branches from your name to each of those categories: live, work, learn, play, and worship. Under each of those subheadings, make a list of just a few people that you interact with on a regular basis, at least once a week. Now, next to their name, mark whether that person is a follower of Jesus, whether they're not a follower, or maybe you are unsure. Realize God has placed you in front of these specific people so that you can represent Jesus to them in word and in deed. And if you're going to have an impact with your relationships, then you need to build into these relationships intentionally, which is our second habit, building relationships. Now, here are just two ways that you can build relationships intentionally in your social circles now that they're mapped out. One, start by praying over one or two people on your relationship map each day, and then shoot them a text. Let them know you're thinking about them. If they are a believer, you can share what you read that morning, what you journaled about using your Hear, Obey, and Share journal. You could ask them how you could pray for them. You can even pray for them right there on text. If they aren't a believer, pray that God would give you chances to have spiritual conversations this week instead of just talking about the football game. The second thing is this: invite one person from your map a week to go and join you in something you're already doing. Going out to lunch, grabbing a cup of coffee, a trip to the store, or a walk along the beach. Have fun and invest in this budding relationship. Now, in our next video, you're going to learn about how to have intentional conversations within these relationships, but this map will help you to know who God wants you to invest in. Remember, there's only two types of people in the world: those who need to learn about Jesus and those who know him but need encouragement to follow him better. That's discipleship. Having your relationships mapped out shows you that you should never be without a person to talk to or encourage. Building relationships is a key habit in finding who you are supposed to be discipling. Check out the links below for more resources, and thanks for joining us.